Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to win a fight by just standing at the same spot and pressing one button. Looks cool, right? Now we are going to abuse this on the top lane.
Is someone there?
The idea of Fiddlesticks top is quite simple. You are going to use the drain in order to win the trade. Build tank item like Spirit Visage that increases your healing on the W spell and become a tanky monster late game that can out-heal the damage he gets during team fights while your carries are able to take down the enemy team. But since Fiddlesticks have to play around the enemy vision and gets his major power spike with his ultimate, wouldn't he be useless until level 6? Well, actually not. He is a quite good champion on the lane that requires no skill at all. He is especially good against close range champions since they have to come into our W spell range, which deals additional damage when the enemy stays inside the range and the cooldown of the spell gets reduced by 60%. That's why we are going to play him on the top lane. And now I will show you how. At level 1 you are going to buy a Doran's ring for some damage and skill your E-spell for some wave clear.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
But as a Fiddlesticks top, you should get used to Miss CS.
Nope. 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 Nope.
It just won't stop. Help me, you stupid motherfucker. Most of the time you can also use it as a tool to poke the enemy down, together with your auto attacks, since you should outrange most of these champions. Just avoid a fight at this early stage of the game. When you accidentally got too close to your opponent, you can use your E-spell to slow and silence them for 1.25 seconds, which should give you enough time to get away. When you attack them out of their vision, you can even fear them. So you should be fine, since most top laners aren't a threat at level 1 if you avoid a fight as a ranged champion. Except Darius. But you should ban that thing every game. When you reach level 2, you are going to put your skill point into the W spell. From now on, you have a great spell for sustain on the lane. Fiddlesticks heals itself for a percentage of the pre-mitigation damage dealt, modified to 15% against minions. When the enemy decides to go in, you can just press the W spell and out-heal the damage you took. When he decides to keep attacking, you can use your W spell immediately again, since the cooldown gets reduced when you are able to finish the drain to the end, dealing additional damage. He loses HP, you receive HP. The best trade you can imagine. I also would recommend casting this spell close to the enemy minion wave, since you have more targets to suck the soul out and get more HP back. So this way you can also get your first kill at level 2. When he decides to retreat, you probably won the trade. Or even get a kill. While you are waiting for the enemy to engage, you can annoy them with auto attacks that deal a decent amount of damage if you keep hitting them. But there is one important thing you need to keep attention to. The W spell can be interrupted. So when you are playing against a champion that has a knock-up in his kit or any kind of stun or pull, you should bait it first before you start using your drain, since when it gets interrupted immediately, you are going to lose the trade. Your W is the key spell for making trades because it deals a decent amount of damage and heals you at the same time. But when it gets interrupted, you don't deal damage, you can't heal, and you don't get the cooldown reduction. Even now when you can cast this spell without any problems, most of the enemy can just run out of this ability. But you have a great tool to prevent this. The Q spell called Terrify, which is basically a point-and-click fear and is a great way to interrupt an enemy engaging. So when the Aurelia is about to hit her stun and is going to dive you with her 4 passive stacks up, you just click on her and say, "Not today my lady," and she has no other choice than to turn around. Wait, why are you dealing so much damage? It is also a great addition for your trade combo. Fear the enemy, damage him with your E-spell and drain them. This way he don't have the chance to walk out of the W spell and can't interrupt the drain immediately. It is also a nice tool to prepare for a gank since the enemy gets feared for 1 second, which should be enough time to hit a CC spell. With your W spell you have a great tool to freeze the wave in front of your turret since you won't lose HP thanks to the healing and your opponent is forced to come closer to your turret, which increases the chance that the jungler comes for a visit. When he tries to break the freeze, don't be scared to fight him, since your healing increases when there are more enemy minions. The next skill point you are going to put into the W spell, which increases your sustain and damage, reducing the chance of you losing a trade by a big margin. Since by only putting 2 more skill points into the spell, doubles the damage and healing percentage. So your opponent shouldn't be able to win trades against you, especially not when they just dive into a huge minion wave. I know you want to dash around, so I just prevent that by fearing you and you are going to lose the straight hard. Dashing away won't help at all. You should never stay on the lane when you are so low on health since I'm just going to take you HP. Damn, I got interrupted. Don't run away, I'm going to get you anyway. Fiddlesticks is especially effective against champion that like to dash around since it doesn't matter how often they change their position. My W spell will always hit, regardless where they are. So you won't have any kind of struggles playing Fiddlesticks top, since the only important things you are going to do is to press W, wait, press W again, and win the fight. That's it. The handy thing about the W spell is the fact that you can literally win 1v2s with it, since more enemies equals more sources for healing yourself. So just fear one of them to proc your aftershock and use your drain in order to out-heal the damage of your opponents. Which isn't a lot when a roaming tunnel maker and a tanky zombie are the only source of incoming damage. So I managed to survive it by just pressing W. Oh hell no. Sometimes the enemy jungler comes for a surprise damage, but there is no reason to panic at all. Even less when Ivern comes with his annoying rock, since there's just one more source of health income. So the only thing they will achieve is wasting their time and losing HP. That's the reason why it won't help as a top laner asking your jungler for help, because 1v2s are the fights where Fiddlesticks is the strongest. Well, to be fair, it wasn't a 1v2 fight, since the Nocturne wasn't realizing that the purple bug was punching him while he was fighting me. The rune aftershock is also very helpful, since you get static 35 bonus armor and magic resistance, which both can increase with plus 80. But you only get this effect after immobilizing an enemy champion. Luckily, fearing a champion count as immobilizing, which means you should use your point and click fear before you use your W spell. This way you gain bonus resistances while gaining HP and damaging your opponent. So it gets even harder to win the trade. As you can see, Fiddlesticks is quite a strong early game champion against a few matchups, but the problem is that you need quite a lot of mana since you are going to use your drain a lot, and since you are not a jungler, you won't have a blue buff that let you spam your abilities. So you have no other options than to build mana items like Frozen Heart first. The major power spike with Fiddlesticks comes when you reach level 6. His ultimate is one of his key features and has the ability to turn a teamfight into his own advantage when used correctly. It creates a damage circle around him which deals about 120 AP damage per second. But the key feature is the fear effect the ultimate has due to Fiddlesticks' passive. It basically works like this. When the enemy has no vision on you, any kind of spell you use is going to fear the enemy. So it is always important to ult from an angle where the enemy has no vision. To make sure that they haven't put a ward into this push, you can use one of these control wards which are especially designed for Fiddlesticks. When it gets discovered by an enemy player, the ward acts like a real player and can bait out some spells from the opponent. Now you guys might wonder, this ultimate might be useful late game. But how can I use it on a lane where the surprise effect is significantly lower than inside the jungle? Luckily, things like bushes exist, so you have to ward inside of them to make sure that they don't have any kind of vision in there. The problem is, the enemy will back off as soon as they see you running inside one of them, so it is actually kinda hard to make use of it. So you have to wait on different spots and pretend that you went back to base, but surprise, I was just standing behind a wall staring at you the whole day, just like in real life when I see my crush during lunchtime. Just keep in mind that you don't have to fear the enemy necessarily. Worst case, you can still use it as a solid damage tool and fear the enemy with your point and click Q. It has basically the same effect. Since the ultimate needs to channel just like Hackstack Flash, it can also be used as a tool to catch an enemy trying to run away. Or when someone messes up his dive so hard that it literally looked like I have paid him to act like a brain-dead monkey, but I can assure you I did not. I mean, from where should the money come from? Anyway, there is no way I let you get away with this horrible play. When you reach the late game, your playstyle won't differ a lot from a jungle Fiddlesticks. You are going to hide on different spots and ult into the enemy team. The damage will be lower than normal, but now you have more sustain and out-heal the incoming damage by just pressing one button. Meanwhile, your team can try to burst down the hyper carries, since in low elo, players tend to focus the enemy standing the closest. But since my passion is to bully enemy ADC players, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to focus the sash. You think you are safe behind that wall, spamming your stupid ability? Well, I have a surprise for you. Another great tool late game is your point and click fear. It can be used to save your carries when they are getting attacked by some kind of assassin. In this scenario, you are just going to fear them so they can fulfill their combo, and the ADC should do enough damage before the assassin can cast any kind of spell. And when you are looking for another stupid top lane pick that doesn't require any brain cells, click on this video right here.